Good morning, dear friends. What a great joy to meet you again around the lofty teachings of the ISSE-SE Education in Human Values program. In the last session, we enjoyed the wonderful and profound introduction to unity in diversity, the third core tenet of the program, presented by our dear Raksha Metheny and moderated by our dear Brigitte Kashtan. Today, for the second part of this cornerstone of the ISSE-SE Educare, I have the honor to welcome our dear George Bebedelis. George graduated from the National Technical University of Athens.
Good morning, and good morning to everybody.
Yes, so as I told you, George graduated from the National Technical University of Athens in 1987, and subsequently he obtained a diploma in pedagogics and a master's degree in history and philosophy of science from the National University of Athens in 2012. George loves to study and understand in depth the most important treatises on the great truths of humanity. That is why, after many years of hard work, George obtained recently, a couple of weeks ago, a doctoral degree awarded by the Department of History and Philosophy of Science of the National University of Athens. The theme of his dissertation was Monism and Dualism in Plato and the Platonic Tradition. The committee of teachers who examined his work awarded him a special mention for the excellence of his thesis. He is presently a teacher of mechanical engineering in secondary vocational education in Athens. How fortunate students are to have a teacher like George, who is able to combine deep perennial knowledge with a sense of practical wisdom in everyday life. George has been teaching ISSE-SE education in human values classes for children since 1992. He has been a teacher trainer of ISSE Institute and has participated in numerous ISSE education in human values training seminars conducted in various countries, both in and outside Europe, since 2000. Since March 2014, he is the director of the Institute of ISSE Education of South Europe. George is also the co-chair of the Education Committee of the three ISSE International Organization. Given the depth of his knowledge and his constant interest in making connections between the wisdom of the Greek philosophers and the sages of India, it is always a pleasure to hear him as an expert to talk about the great truths that illuminate the path of humanity. We could not have a better exponent today. So, dear George, we are very delighted to be studying together today this key concept of ISSE education in human values on unity in diversity. Welcome, dear George.
Thank you, Esther Chris, for your kind words, for your lovely introduction, all the time, warm and sweet. And although we know that for you, and maybe we have to inform the participants, that for you that now you are in Colombia, it is 4 o'clock in the morning, but
Yes.
You are here with us, and we are very grateful to go on today with this, as you said, very important topic, unity in diversity, which already the first part was presented previous session by our dear Raksha. Because this is very important, that's why for this presentation, for this topic, we have devoted 2 sessions. And this is a topic that I really love, as you said, because through this, personally, from the interactions that I had with Satya Sai Baba, but also from his discourses and the study of his books, one understands that this is the fundamental principle of all his teachings, and also the foundation of a healthy and deeply rooted in spirituality educational system. This unity in diversity is which brings the human values when we realize this, that we all are one. So let's start with this second part of presentation. I will share my screen. And I would like to start with a very important story. As Esther Chris mentioned, I like to study both the ancient Greek philosophy together with ancient Indian philosophy. And having a good knowledge from this field, I would like to start my presentation with a story which actually is connected with a very special experience of mine in this spiritual journey to realize the truth, to realize this unity in diversity. This takes us back to November 1996. That means 27 years back. It was at that time the 71st birthday celebrations of Sri Satya Sai Baba, and a group of friends of mine who had prepared a drama to present in his presence in India. You understand what a big effort was that, to work in Greece, to prepare everything and to make it as good as we could, and then to go a big group of people to travel this big journey and to carry many things to go there to present this drama. But this was really a great blessing. And this story started with the king, as you can see here, it was called the Tales of Janaka. Janaka, maybe some of you know, was a king of ancient India, very renowned king, dedicated to the service of his people, but at the same time a spiritual person who was seeking the realization of the truth. So in the first story, it was a story said by Satya Sai Baba that we played. King Janaka comes back from a very long day to his palace. He entered the room. He enters the room where the queen is there. He sits in a soft sofa to relax. And then in front of him is ready a big table with every kind of delicacies to enjoy. And as he relaxes, and even the queen is close to him, massaging his feet to give him rest. So Janaka goes deep into himself, and he falls asleep. Then in his sleep, he has a dream. And in the dream, he sees that he's a beggar. And he's a beggar in the middle of a forest. He has not good clothes to wear. He's cold. He's very hungry. And he's wandering in the forest, asking, shouting, "I am hungry, I am hungry." And then he sees a fire nearby. And there in this fire, it was some thieves having some food to eat. So when they heard him, that there is a beggar near them, asking he's hungry, they call him, come to have something to eat with us. So Janaka, as a beggar now, approaches the thieves, and the moment that he's approaching the fire to get something to eat, a tiger is coming. And when the tiger is coming, everybody says, "Tiger, tiger, run, run for your life." At that moment, because of the fear in his dream, Janaka wakes up. And what he sees the palace. He sees the palace, everything so rich in front of him, so many food. At that time, he was hungry. Now everything is in front of him. A soft sofa, a very beautiful queen massaging his feet. And at that moment, he falls in a trance because he asks, what is true? Is that dream that I saw true? Or is this waking reality true? So he really is absolutely confused, and he loses connection with his environment. The queen is very anxious, goes near him. "King, what happened with you? What is the problem?" But Janaka does not respond. He kept asking, "Is this true? Or is that true? Is this true? Or is that true?" Then Queen calls the ministers, calls the guard, and he says something is, there's a problem with our king. He does not respond. The people are going there. They try to speak to Janaka, but he does not respond. He keeps asking himself, is this true or is that true? Then everybody's confused. They don't know what to do. And they decided to call the spiritual preceptor of the palace, who was the sage Vasista, a great sage of ancient India. So Vasista enters the palace, goes to the room of the king, and when he sees the king in this condition, with his spiritual vision, he understands what was the question, what was the dilemma, and what was the experience of King Janaka. So he gives to him this answer. King Janaka, life during daytime is a daydream. During nighttime is a night dream. Both are illusions. You alone are true. The self that is present as pure consciousness in both dream and waking states is the only true reality. The world is constantly changing. The self alone is real and changeless. Only the self exists, and he is Brahma, the one without a second. What a great teaching. And what a teaching which is beyond the common understanding of our daily life. Because we live in this world, and we take this world of multiplicity absolutely, which we perceive with the senses, to be absolutely real. And here the great teaching is coming from the ancient sage, who says that no, this reality that we see, we perceive with the senses, is not true. It is an illusion, and it is compared with the dream. It says this is a daydream. That is a night dream. There's no difference. So at this point, we open the door of a very, very, very high philosophical teaching, and we are really puzzled when the question is coming about this world that we take so real. For me, all these years, you see that this we play this drama in so many years back, 1996. It was the beginning. At that time, I was young, and of course, I felt it was a great blessing to receive this teaching. But after so many years, I can see that how difficult it is to realize this reality and have the experience of the one changeless reality beyond this multiplicity. But what was important, and this is why this teaching has stayed in my heart, is because we played this as a drama. And now if I would like to connect this with educational process, Satya Sai Baba is a great spiritual teacher, but also is a very wise educator. That's why he uses all the tools that an educator has to use in his educational system. And one of these is, as we have also seen in the previous module, to have group activities with the children. And one of the main group activities is to prepare dramas. So when you want to know something better, you dramatize this. And this is the reason, because at that time we gave so much effort in order to present, but this has the effect that it remained to not only to me, but all my friends who were there with me. It stayed in our hearts because of this experience. And here I would like to share with you some photos, because, and then I will continue with my topic. It is nice that some photos have been kept from that time. When the roles were distributed, I was given, you know, Satya, I will tell you a detail. In the drama, when we presented the script to Satya Sai Baba, it was the stories with Janaka, but there was the presence of Rama and Sita. Rama and Sita are very important in the Indian tradition. Divine incarnation, Rama and his wife Sita. And it was the same time with King Janaka. So Sai Baba asked, have you included Rama and Sita? We said no. And then he said, you try to do it. So how should we do it? The idea was that only at the end, when King Janaka is enlightened, we presented three stories with King Janaka, then Rama and Sita were coming out. And you know something, I was given the role of Sita. This is funny, of course, when I look back. But at that time, when they first, we first discussed and this role was given to me, I was not so happy. Maybe I would prefer to be one of the sages of ancient India. I could understand the importance of this role. And but this turned to be a blessing for me, because for some reason, when we went there to perform, Satya Sai Baba was giving special attention to Sita and to take care how she will be dressed and everything. So I will show you some photos from that time. Open the curtains. It happened behind the scenes. So many times Satya Sai Baba was coming, and you see there some brothers, and this lady in blue sari is a Sita, and this is me. And you see that he himself, he had called his students to dress us up and to prepare everything. Here another photo. He himself, he was putting some jewels. It was, I remember, this was the previous day before the main performance. And he took care of everything. And so it was such a great blessing for me. At that time, I didn't have a big connection with all this Indian tradition, but then I understood the depth, and I realized the unity of the Indian philosophy with Western philosophy. Then you can see here at the end, this is my friend, big, tall, my brother, my spiritual brother, who was Rama. You see how beautiful beautiful dressed, because the students of Satya Sai Babas are so so competent in making dramas. As I said, this was something underlined by Satya Sai as a very important tool for education. Even this very high philosophy, even these very high stories can be presented even from small and young students. So the spiritual message is coming into them from the very young age. I have seen that happening so many times. And here, at the end, this is Janaka, he's enlightened, and then he greets with respect Rama and Sita. And finally, all of us, and then all the other who play the roles, we greet the audience, and Satya Sai Baba, who was sitting and very happily was seeing this drama. And then he comes up and he gave to everybody a shawl, a very special present. You see here how are everybody dressed? Really, you cannot recognize, and we really look back and see what a great experience was that. One of the, because Satya Sai Baba was coming very often in the rehearsals, and we had the chance to speak with him and to ask various questions. So one day I remember, because we had this discussion among us, we were discussing about the philosophers before Socrates and Plato. Satya Sai Baba many times, as I have again said to Greeks about the importance of Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle, but we wanted to ask about the pre-Socratic philosophers. There were great philosophers in the Greek tradition that lived before Socrates. So we wanted to ask him. So one day I had the chance to ask him, what was the status of three of them? And I asked Pythagoras, Heraclitus, and Parmenides. These are very well known for somebody who has studied a little the ancient philosophy in the West. And immediately, Satya Sai Baba answered, there were great sages like Vasista, Sukha, and Astavakra. These three, it was not only Vasista, Sukha, and Astavakra also. There were two more plays in this big drama with these sages. So immediately, Satya Sai Baba answered that they were great, enlightened sages, exactly as those that we performed, their teachings we were performing. So I will take a little time in this presentation to present these three, a few points of their teachings, which underline this topic, unity in diversity. Because as also we saw in the teachings of Vasista, he says there is only one. We see this multiplicity, but this is a daydream. Actually, there is only unity, only one. So in this diversity that we see, beyond this diversity, there is only unity. And so the order of these three is Pythagoras, Heraclitus, and Parmenides, chronologically. And we can start with Pythagoras. These three, first, let's see the map of that time. This time is, let's say, 6th century before Christ, almost. The 5th century is when Socrates lived. And we have here marked 3 cities. One is Ephesus in Asia Minor. This is the place where Heraclitus was born and lived. Then we have Croton in southern Italy. This is the place where Pythagoras finally made his philosophical school, but he was born in Greece in an island called Samos. And then Elea, which is a little more north to southern Italy, close to Neapolis, as you can see. And there it was where Parmenides was born. That's why his philosophy, Parmenides' philosophy, is well known as Eleatic philosophy, from Elea. So we start with Pythagoras. Pythagoras was considered since ancient times as the initiator and father of sacred philosophy. Even the term philosophy and philosopher is sometimes by ancient authors is said that is initiated by Pythagoras himself. So we have a very nice text from an author of the 3rd, 4th century, Iamblichus, who says, Pythagoras purified and healed the soul from anger, pain, and pleasure, low desires, and all the more from ignorance, which is the most harmful and unholy of all the rest. He directed to the spiritual world the divine eye, which, as Plato says, is more worth saving than 10,000 corporeal eyes, because it is only through this eye, when strengthened and clarified by appropriate means, that one can perceive the truth about all beings. You see here, it is very clear that beyond this corporeal eyes, that they see the outer reality, there is another divine eye is called in this text, or Plato calls it the eye of the soul, which sees the truth which is beyond. And this is the purpose of philosophy, to awaken this inner eye and to make it able to see the divine reality, the changeless truth. Pythagoras is considered to be a mystic. Even the word mystic and mysticism that we know, it comes from that time. It is a Greek word that comes from the verb mio, which means to close my eyes. In order to see, you have to close your eyes. And I remember here, it is, maybe you remember also, Raksa, who is so good in sharing stories with her students, often says to them, now close your eyes in order to see. And one very clever student once asked her, but how is it possible to close my eyes and see? Really? So we close our eyes in order to open an inner eye and to see with this another reality. And as Satya Sai Baba says, scientists ask, what is this? So these eyes, these corporeal eyes, see what is this. Sense ask, what is that? This is near, that is below senses. That is far, beyond senses. Pythagoras was speaking about the oneness of God, as we have also this reference from an ancient Christian author, Justin. He says, Pythagoras said, God is one. He is not, as some people claim, outside of the universe, but in it, in the full cosmic circle, witness of all creation, uniting all time and embodying all power. He is the beginning of cosmos, shining as bright star in the sky, father of all, universal intellect and soul, the mover of all celestial spheres. Here I would like to connect with Newton. Newton, we know him as a great physicist. He wrote this great book in 17th century, Principia Mathematica, which is the foundation, where they represented the foundation of modern physics. But few people know that in this book at the end, there is a scholium, that means a big commentary written by Newton, expressing some spiritual ideas, because Newton was not only a scientist, but mainly, especially the last time of his life, in the last years of his life, he was a very spiritual person, dedicated in all his life to the knowledge of truth. So in this Principia Mathematica, that means the mathematical principles of the physical universe, he says there is a certain most subtle spirit which pervades and lies hid in all gross bodies, by the force and action of which spirit the particles of bodies mutually attract one another. This most beautiful system of the sun, planets, and comets could only proceed from the counsel and dominion of an intelligent and powerful being. This being governs all things as Lord over all. He is eternal and infinite, omnipotent and omniscient. In him are all things contained and moved. He is all eye, all ear, all brain, all arm, all power to perceive, to understand, and to act. It is really a very powerful passage which shows this presence of the one behind the many. And this is very similar, and like to connect this with an ancient Vedic hymn which is called Purusha Suktam. Because as Esther Chris mentioned, what I really love is to make these connections, and through these to realize and to experience that the one truth is present at every time and has been discovered by different people. Either we call them sages or scientists, because the goal of all is to find the truth. So if we go back to the Vedic tradition, this hymn, Purusha Suktam is called, starts with this verse. Sahasra Sirsha Purushaha, Sahasraksha Sahasrapat. The name for the Supreme Person is Purusha. Purusha Suktam. Suktam means hymn for Purusha. And it says that the Supreme Person has 1,000 heads, 1,000 eyes, 1,000 feet. It is very close with the previous text of Newton that we saw. Let's see the last sentence. He says, he is all eye, Sahasraksha. In the Purusha Sukta was written 1,000 eyes. Here, all eyes. He is all eye, all ear, all brain, all arm, all power to perceive, to understand, and to act. So by doing this connection, going back and forth and researching in the depths of the wise people of any time, we come across the same truth. So let's move now to Heraclitus. Heraclitus was known as the obscure philosopher because his teaching was not so easy to understand even at that time, in the ancient time. He was speaking about the fire. He was comparing the divine as a universal fire. This cosmos has always been, is, and will be an ever-living fire, kindling itself in a regular order and going out in a regular order. Unity of opposites is one of the principles of Heraclitus' teachings. The way up and the way down is one and the same. God is day and night, winter and summer, war and peace, satiation and hunger. But he takes various shapes, just as fire, when it is mingled with various incenses, is named according to the fragrance of each. And another fragment, because we don't have the full work of Heraclitus, this happens with many ancient authors. We just have fragments of their work by ancient commentators who have kept these fragments in their books. So here Heraclitus says, listening not to me, but to Logos, it is wise to assert that all is one. Again, we see that Heraclitus touches this fundamental principle that all is one, and multiplicity is actually a manifestation which is illusory. And within this Logos, the concept of Logos, I think we have discussed in a previous session, which means this, let's say, the cosmic consciousness, the divine mind who has arranged all this cosmos. So with this all is one, we can now pass to the third of these three philosophers that we had asked Satya Sai Baba, with Parmenides. Parmenides, this is exactly one saying that it is very well known for him. En to pan in Greek. En means one. Pan means everything. Everything is one. All is one. He was saying like this, and even the ancients could not understand what means all is one. He does not. He didn't speak about because when we say unity, we can mean this in two ways. That there is a multiplicity of many things. They are coming together, and they are harmoniously arranged, and so they make a very nice harmonious whole. So this whole is united, but still we experience different parts. So this is one of the meanings of unity. We understand the unity as coming together of different parts. But here we speak about another meaning of unity. This multiplicity of many parts does not really exist. There is only one reality, which is hidden by this illusory appearance of many different things. So in his poem, Parmenides, we are very lucky because we have a poem of him speaking about this truth has been preserved more than other authors. So in this poem, he explains that this one is the only reality, and the multiplicity is just an illusion, exactly as we saw in the beginning with the teaching of Sage Vasista. So now I would like to go through this poem of Parmenides, which is very, very powerful and has influenced a lot all the philosophy from ancient time. Plato was very much influenced by Parmenides. He has even written a dialogue with this title, Parmenides, and he has spoken about him as also all the Platonic philosophers after Plato have been influenced very much, and they were trying to understand what Parmenides was speaking about. So I will read, this is the text, translation of the ancient text. In this poem, Parmenides describes a metaphysical experience that he had. The poem starts with this experience. So he says, "The wise mares carry me as far as my heart desires, upon the well-renowned road of the divinity. Thereon was I carried with the daughters of the sun, guiding the way after leaving the house of darkness for the light. Ahead are the ethereal gates of night and day, of which justice holds the keys. Appealing to her with gentle words, the maidens did persuade her to push back the bolted bar. The doors were opened wide, and straight through them did the maidens drive the chariot and the mares along the broad way. The goddess received me graciously, took my right hand in hers, and thus addressed me.
Youth, guided by immortal charioteers to my court, welcome. It was no ill fortune that sent you forth to travel this road, lying far indeed from the paths of humans, but right and justice. You will learn all things, both the unshakable heart of well-rounded truth and the beliefs of mortals in which there is no true trust.
You see what the goddess says to Parmenides, who has this experience going beyond the gates of night and day. This is symbolic because night and day are the two fundamental opposites in our daily life, consisting the duality that we experience. So when these gates open, as it was said before in the poem, it means that, as I understand this, that he goes beyond the normal experience of duality. And this is exactly what Goddess, as we heard, told him. I will speak, she says to him, about two paths, the path of truth, and here he characterizes, he describes the truth as the unshakable heart of well-rounded truth. And then the other path is the beliefs of mortals in which there is no true trust. So this common belief of the duality, what the common people believe, you don't have to trust this. This is what the goddess says to Parmenides, speaking about the unshakable heart of well-rounded truth. And this reminds us about, as you remember, when we describe the Satyasai education, it is not only the part, the half circle, which is the science, semicircle, but it is also educare, which is spirituality, which is full circle, takes us back to the origin and makes the full circle of truth. And in this part, the first part, after the introduction, the poem of this work of Parmenides, he describes the way of truth. Truth is called alethia, and this also we have seen in Plato, to remove the ignorance, to remove the forgetfulness. Lethi means to forget. And then to this, in this part of truth, he describes that only the being exists. The being is called on, which is the same with Sat in Sanskrit. And then Parmenides describes this being, this divine reality, with different terms: unborn, imperishable, whole, immovable, complete. Nor was it once, nor will it be, since it is now all. One, continuous, indivisible, it contains all, without beginning and end. It remains the same in the same place. It ever lies firmly in itself. It lacks nothing, completed from every direction, like a perfect sphere, evenly balanced from the center, equal to itself in every direction. And then Parmenides continues to describe the path of the human beliefs, where it is the two opposites. So Goddess continues and says to Parmenides,
here I stop my trustworthy speech about truth. From here on, learn by my words the beliefs of mortals about the illusory world. for they made up their minds to name two forms, not only one. There lies their delusion. They distinguished two opposites. On the one hand, the eternal flame of fire, gentle and light. On the other hand, the dark night, dense and heavy. This illusory cosmos I present to you, so that no mortal belief shall ever deceive you.
You see, this is very powerful because he describes this normal experience of cosmos with two opposites. The one says is the ethereal flame of fire. Ethereal means that the word ether was contained with the heaven. So the flame of fire, the ethereal flame of fire is connected with the light which comes from the heavens, from the sun, let's say, which is gentle light. And then we have the earth, where it is more heavy, the reality, and there we have night. And so we have these two opposites, light and darkness, actually, which is the basic duality of this world. And this is very similar with this yin-yang of the Chinese tradition. The important thing is that Goddess says to Parmenides that I present to you this duality, so the illusory cosmos that I present to you will not deceive you when you hear about this from the mortals. This is the mortal belief. This is the same exactly as the teaching of Vasista. When Janaka was in a transcendental state and he didn't know what is true, the daydream or the night dream. And then Janaka said exactly the same, that both are dreams because it is duality. And at this point, as the last part of this presentation, I would like to go again to Indian philosophy, to a great sage, Adi Shankaracharya, who is considered to be the founder of Advaita Vedanta. Actually, Advaita Vedanta is the philosophy, the highest philosophy in India, which has to do with the teaching of non-duality. What we really discussed today, the one beyond the many, beyond the multiplicity. Because Advaita literally means dva. Dva means two. So non-dualism, monism, not two, only one. And Satya Sai Baba very nicely says, because he makes many word plays that stays in your mind. A man with a dual mind is half blind. A man with a dual mind is half blind. So when we half blind, again, this half reminds us this half circle. As far as we see only this scientific world, let's say, the world that science investigates of duality, it's like we are half blind. This is, of course, important because we live in that, but we lack the knowledge of the other half. So we are half blind. We can summarize the teachings of Shankaracharya in these two words. Brahma Satyam Jagan Nityam. Jivo Brahmaiva na paraha. Brahma is truth. No, the word Satyam, like the name of Satya Sai Baba, Satyam means truth. Brahma is truth. Brahma is God, the divine reality. So Brahma is truth, only the divine. This own of Parmenides is truth. You remember the words are similar. Parmenides was saying being and the way of truth, very similar. Jagat Mithya. Jagat means the world. The world is just an illusory appearance. Jiva Brahmaiva na paraha. Jiva is the individual. Individual. We think that we are individual souls different from the others. This is also an illusion because Jiva is very Brahma. This is what is said here, that the real nature of each one of us is divine. Na paraha. There's no difference. And that's why the fundamental question that all the time it comes in this program, in this Satyasai education and Satyasai philosophy, which is in the background, is know thyself. And in order to answer this question, we have a very simple way given with these 4 Sanskrit words. Deham means, am I this body? Naham, no, I'm not. Koham, who am I? Soham. Soham means I am he. I'm one with the divine. So I am more than the body, more than the mind. This is so fundamental truth. So this one reality that we want to perceive beyond the diversity, unity in diversity, is not different from our real self. And then the second part says, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mityam. The world is an illusory appearance. And in Vedanta, maybe some of you know, there is a very nice picture illustrates this question. When we see a rope, sometimes we take it as a snake in the dusk, when there is not too much light, and we think that the rope is a snake. This is exactly the case with the experience that we have of this world. This is said by Satya Sai Baba in a very important book of him, who is describing this very high philosophical principle that we speak today, unity in diversity. There he says, the cause of all this false appearance is the dusk of Maya. This is the Sanskrit word for delusion. The rope might appear a snake, but it has been never changed into a snake. Similarly, Brahma, that is the divine, might be manifested in a variety of ways, but it is ever one. For all the various manifestations, Brahma is the one real basis and the only being. And one more quotation to sum up with this important principle. And you know, these discourses, these words of Satya Sai Baba, it is not only addressed. I was all the time surprised by that. He did not only address these to adults, but even the young students who were there in front of him were able to hear this great truth from the very young age. So here it says, right from small ants, mosquitoes, and birds to mighty elephants, every being is the manifestation of God. Even the trees, hills, and mountains are manifestations of God. A second entity is just your imagination and illusion. There is only one without a second. And this one, when we realize this one without a second, which unites everything, which is everything, then what is the natural expression, manifestation of this experience of oneness? Love. That's why we have said many times that love is the fundamental of the 5 human values. We have love, truth, peace, righteousness, non-violence. Often, Satya Sai Baba has underlined the importance of love, but also of truth, the truth that we discussed today. So I would like to close my presentation with this quotation of Satya Sai Baba. Everything in this world is bound to change except the principle of love. There is love in every one of you. You all belong to the same universal family. It is only love that can dispel the darkness of ignorance. Love alone can unite the entire world. So this experience of oneness, the unity in diversity, should not only be an abstract idea, but should manifest in our daily life with this basic principle of love, and of course with all the other human values. After this experience, then we are rooted and established in human values. Thank you very much. And I give the word to Esther, Chris. I think the time passed, but it is
Don't worry.
it's not very easy to put together all this.
But you have done that magnificently. So thank you so much, dear George. It is difficult to speak when I've just listened to those high teachings. I think that the goal seems to be clear. It is that unwavering establishment of our higher consciousness. Yet, as you said, the drama is very important. But I said that the drama is not only the drama that we play in the scene of the theater, but the drama of life. I think that no matter the role we have, we all have the opportunity to play in the best way the role of our life every day. And I think that as Swami dresses you all for the drama in the theater in India, also God is also dressing us with the jewels of human values to enable us to cross the life in a sage way. So I think that those are truths very elevated, and the best thing is not only to contemplate them, but to ask ourselves, how can we practice that in our daily life? Because it's difficult, as you said, to realize this high teaching that the King Janaka received. So thank you so much. I would like to invite everybody to this conversation with you to ask questions, to write their questions in the chat, because this is a very important topic. So I invite all of you to write in the chat so that for the next maybe
5 minutes, because already the time passed, I know.
How much time did you say?
5, I said.
Okay, 5 minutes.
It depends also. We'll see if we receive something. But to continue on what you commented, actually, not only once, but sometimes Satya Sai underlined this to us, that we had the opportunity, some friends of me and I myself, to play also other dramas in his presence, that the real drama is in life. And this is the purpose. All the time he said that.
Yes.
To implement this that we want to learn, this that we play in the theater, to implement in daily life. This is the most important. And of course, this is also as I said in the beginning, the purpose of all the activities that we have with the students. With the students, we do the same. We teach them a story, we teach them a song, we make a small drama with them, we make some events, but the purpose is that they learn all this, they take them in their heart, and then we are happy. The teacher is happy when he sees that the result has been accomplished and the student applies these values in daily life. This is the main purpose.
Yes, this is so. We are speechless. No question is coming to the chat. But I think that it is so important to remember the steps you mentioned. There is just a comment, not a question. Thank you, Letizia. And maybe to remember those 3 steps that you have mentioned once and again to attain the most sublime of our goals. It's first to listen to the sages. That's what we just came to do. Next, to contemplate and meditate on those teachings. And third, see how we can practice them in our daily life, in our daily drama, sacred drama. So,
and I think we will have the chance with the workshop to contemplate on this,
Mhm.
as we will do in a while after the break. We had the chance to hear,
Mhm.
then to contemplate, and then hopefully all this process to help us to implement every time better and better, because I suppose that everyone's experience is like mine, that we see that not always we can be perfect in the drama of life. But the truth is that as the time passes, that we become better and better as we keep all these values and these great truths in our mind.
Exactly.
So as I see that there are no questions, and it is already 11, then maybe we can close this part, this first part, to have a 5 minutes break and to come back again for our workshop. Thank you, Esther, Chris. Thank you all
Thank you,
for
dear
your
George.
attention. And let's have a good break now.
Thank you, dear George. Thank you so much. Well, dear participants, we are ready now for our experience in this beautiful workshop. I will share my screen. Yes, here we are. You may wonder why we started our workshop with numbers, musical notes, and the flame we use for meditation. Well, to continue sharing the teachings of the great Greek sages that George started, I will now take again some inspiration from Pythagoras. Pythagoras was a great initiate, as George said, a wise man whose legacy is the result of his experience of the divine order and the cosmic laws of the universe and their relationship. One of the fundamental points of his teachings lay in the explanation of the cosmos through the numbers. The Pythagoreans taught that everything was made according to numbers. The most powerful and fascinating manifestation of the numerical order is music and harmony. Harmony generates tranquility and health, while chaos generates disorder and disease. According to Pythagoreans, even the celestial bodies, moving according to perfect mathematical laws, produce a heavenly sound, known as the music of the spheres. For Pythagoras, the ultimate aim of music was harmony and order and the self-perfection that finally leads us to silence. Because the most powerful and fascinating manifestation of the numerical order is music and harmony. So he was searching for silence at the ultimate perfection, but through music. So this is very important. In our workshop today, we invite you to live an experience. This experience will enter, first of all, into silence with meditation, and then listen to some pieces of music and watch the videos that remind us of the path we travel as humans in search of our true nature. The first, "Remind Me, My Lord," expresses our inborn yearning to find out who we are. It is a prayer to remember our true nature in the midst of illusion that surrounds us. The second, "Ajayale," is a magnificent mantra from Jap Sahib, accepted by all religions, a hymn in praise of the Creator who is metaphysical, eternal, and born, uncreated, self-existent, and without form, feature, and color. We praise God's myriad attributes, not yet aware that it is our own inner nature. But the last one, divine love and union with the beloved, by the great scholar, mystic, and poet Ibn Arabi, is a beautiful poem that speaks to us of the discovery of the self within ourselves. At the end, we will remain silent for a moment to let the experience decant and leave its mark in our hearts. After the silence, everyone can write one word in the chat describing their experience. So let's start with our meditation on the light. Let us sit up straight for meditation, hands relaxed on our lap. Take a few deep breaths. Breathe slowly and deeply. Now, look at the candle's flame placed at the eye level, or visualize it, contemplating the brightness, radiance, and warmth of this beautiful flame. Fix your gaze for a few moments on the flame. Now, let us gently close our eyes and bring the light within. Let us watch this light illuminating our spiritual heart in the middle of our chest. Imagine that the petals of the lotus bud open one by one, bathing in light every feeling, emotion, and impulse, and driving away all darkness. From now on, there is no room for darkness. It can only run away from the flame. Let us imagine that the light spreads and becomes brighter and intense. It penetrates all the body. Our hands are full of light. They are instruments of light, of love, and they cannot harm. Our feet are full of light, and they lead us down the right path to our noble goals. Now the light expands to the mouth, so we speak softly and gently, and lie, slander, and pride disappear. The light spreads to the eyes and ears. All negative desires are now eliminated by the shining light of wisdom and virtue. Now the head is full of light. All negative thoughts disappear. Where there is light, Darkness cannot exist. The light within becomes more and more bright and intense. Let it shine all around us by surrounding ourselves with the light of love. Let it spread more and more, embracing our mother, father, family members, and teachers, those we love, our friends, our acquaintances, but also strangers, people we have difficulties with, and all the living beings all over the world. Plants, animals, and all creation. Everything is full of light and radiates permanently. All is full of this radiant light. That light does not diminish and continues to expand without limits. Experience the omnipresence of this light and feel. I am in the light. The light is in me. I am the light. Let's keep quiet for a few moments. Gently let us become aware of our breathing, of every inhalation and exhalation. Let us bring back our attention to the center of our spiritual heart, to that lotus flower, which is bright, bright, and bright. We breathe in and out, slowly and deeply. Smile. And make sure to maintain during the next exercise the determination to keep this lotus flower radiating light, while we open our hearts to the music and the lyrics of the 3 musical pieces we have chosen for you. Let's maintain silence for one more moment. Slowly stretching and gently open our eyes. And now be ready to observe and listening carefully.
Remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, who I am. Remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, who I am. I am all, I am all, eternal. I am all, I am all, eternal. Through this life of distraction and of delusion, remind me, my Lord, who I am. Through this life of distraction and of delusion, remind me, my Lord, who I am. I am truth, I am peace, divine bliss. I am truth, I am peace, divine bliss. Ananda Svarupa, He Prema Svarupa, remind me, my Lord, who I am. Ananda Svarupa, He Prema Svarupa, remind me, my Lord, who I am. I am love, I am love, your love. I am love, I am love, your love. Remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, who I am. Remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, who I am. I am all, I am all, eternal. I am all, I am all, eternal. Through this life of distraction and of delusion, remind me, my Lord, who I am. Through this life of distraction and of delusion, remind me, my Lord, who I am. I am truth, I am peace, divine bliss. I am truth, I am peace, divine bliss. Ananda Svarupa, He Prema Svarupa, remind me, my Lord, who I am. Ananda Svarupa, He Prema Svarupa, remind me, my Lord, who I am. I am love, I am love, your love. I am love, I am love, your love. Ananda Svarupa, He Prema Svarupa, remind me, my Lord, who I am. Ananda Svarupa, He Prema Svarupa, remind me, my Lord, who I am. I am love, I am love, your love. I am love, I am love, your love. Remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, who I am.
Akarmanga parmanga kanje aleke. Invencible, indestructible.
Dear friends, I invite all of us once again to gently become aware of our breathing, of every inhalation and exhalation. After enjoying this vibrant silence, this unity, this truth, I invite each of you to write in the chat, whenever you are ready to, one word that describes your experience. I will read slowly your words to maintain the introspection mood we are in. Beautiful. Tranquility. Gratitude. Peace. Divinity. Comfort. Devotion. Bliss. Sweetness. Harmony. Plenitude. Serenity. I am. Peaceful. Gratitude. Grace. Nothingness. Awareness. Went through a very beautiful experience. Perfection. Silence. Love. Absolute. Yearning. Vastness. Eternity. Peace. Light. Unity. Thank you so much, dear friends, for sharing together this beautiful experience. I pray for us to be able not only to incorporate all this sacred information, but to put into practice, transforming our lives and the whole world with love and peace, accepting and honoring unity in diversity. There are some few words here: beauty, light, protection, perfection, joy. Thank you once again for sharing this beautiful experience, dear friends. Dear George, we would like to have the opportunity to hear a few words from you to close our session today.
It's not so easy to do that after this wonderful session, which gave to all of us this experience in our hearts of the presence of the light and love. Because when you really have this experience, the best is to remain silent. You also said, Esther, Chris, that silence is the ultimate goal, even of music. And I would like to thank you so much for taking us to this wonderful journey through silence and music. And when we were asked to share a word for this experience, it came to my mind and shared the word gratitude. Gratitude, it came to my mind. There's today we had the opportunity from the beginning till now, coming to the end, to share and to be uplifted through this wisdom that has come to us from so many different sources, from so many different sages in different time, in different places of this planet. We had the opportunity to start and to go back in the past, in the ancient India with Vasista, Sukha, Astavakra. Then we continued with Pythagoras, Heraclitus, Parmenides. Then we continued our journey with the silence and the music and the beautiful words of Sri Guru Gobind Singh, then of this great scholar and poet and mystic Ibn Arabi. And we see through this the unity, we can experience the unity, and we see, because this is the ultimate criterion of truth. When we have the same recording from different people, different time, different places, but they all praise this ultimate experience of having the vision of unity, which can be expressed in so many different ways, as we also received from all our participants. And ultimately, speaking about gratitude also for being together, for having the opportunity to share this with our team, and gratitude for this program, for the Satyasa Education in Human Values, which is the medium to convey all these great truths, and gratitude also to the founder, Sri Satya Sai Baba, who has come in order to bring again this hidden, this forgotten wisdom, and to uplift all of us from, and then he seems from the young age This is not, of course, here it is a meeting of adults, but we have to do this work with students. Imagine if the students are exposed in such teachings, in such experience, in such music, in such words, in such poetry from the very young age. How nourishing it is for their souls, and how many more possibilities they have to experience this great reality as they grow. And how much more beautiful is their life of their families, the life of the societies they live within, the life of the world. And this, the ultimate experience of love and unity. And they came also in my mind, speaking about gratitude, these words of Sathya Sai, who says, I have come to light a lamp of love in your hearts, to see that it shines day by day with added luster. I have come to tell you of this unitary faith, this spiritual principle, this path of love, this virtue of love, this duty of love. So again, I would like to thank everyone for being here with us, for being present, for sharing these wonderful moments, and to pray that these moments become more and more, and we can share with more and more people, giving light and peace and happiness to the whole world.
Thank you so much, dear George. I can say that my lamp, the lamp of my heart, even lighted, and I feel full of light in this moment. And I hope that we can all see with our eyes of the heart. So thank you so much for this beautiful presentation and this experience we have shared together. And thank you, dear participants, dear friends, for
And I would like you, Esther,
participation.
I would like also to see you not only with the light of my heart, but I would like also to see if you would like to open your cameras. Thank you all. Thank you all. And I forgot also when I spoke about gratitude. Gratitude for the music, for the art. You see how the music comes in our heart. You see when we hear these three songs, the lyrics is important, but important is the music, because music opens the hearts. And we are so grateful to all these great artists who have written this, not only poems, but the music. We have so many musical pieces from the ancient times till nowadays, because music is a nourishment for the soul, especially when it is accompanied with these lyrics, this kind of lyrics. So grateful we are. And to my experience, because I love music a lot, I sing, music is the greatest unifying power. Have you seen the musicians when they play? They're like one. They might be 5, 10, 20, 30. When they play, you can see oneness, only one. You don't experience multiplicity. You see a whole that it is magnificent. It is such magic. They only look, yeah, and it gives such joy. So since we are coming to a close, I would suggest to close also with another song as we end this session. If you don't have anything else to share, this is also we have seen again, but I like, this is the prayer, may all the words be happy, which is put in music. And may the love we share spread its wings. And let's end with this again. This is a prayer, and then the ancient Vedic prayer, Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu, which means may all the words be happy. All this brought together in nice music, take it into our hearts, and with this uplifting experience to keep it till we meet again after 2 weeks. And which is the topic, Esther Chris, after 2 weeks?
Our next topic will be sealing on desires. So please don't miss it. We need it. Very important. So in the meantime, enjoy the silence, the seeing with the eye of the heart, and be happy.
So bye-bye. I will play the this prayer, musical prayer, and then we end the meeting.